else like that. And he was concerned about that, and it's a very good concern. And the thing is, the fact of it is, whether you're buying new or old, or it doesn't matter what type of property you are, you've got to do your due diligence. Due diligence is the most important thing, right? And when you're doing your due diligence, we've got to look at quite a few factors. I'm just going to go through a few quick ones. Now, with an area, one we've got to look at, if you're looking at buying an area, there needs to be a lack of supply. What does that mean? Well, if you've got an area like a suburb that's landlocked, that's a good sign. But if there's lots of space around it, like say you're in the middle of nowhere, then it's not a good sign because you can always get an oversupply. Another area you can get an oversupply is in the CBD because of units. So when you buy a unit, you can be oversupplied. So you're less likely to get oversupplied with property if you've got a house and land or you've got a townhouse, but you still need to be in a suburb that's surrounded by other suburbs and quality suburbs. It's very, very important. Also, you look at vacancy rates and how many internet searches there are and average vendor discount and things like that. So there's quite a few numbers and you've got to get your numbers right. And when I do my research, I pay for the premium research so I can get all my numbers and get the stats right. Because if you get all the stats right, then you know, is it going up, is it going down? You can actually see it because you can compare it to different suburbs. And you want to go for an area that's 7 o'clock. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you get your numbers right. So there's a lot of big groups out there and they've got thousands of members. And what happens is they can't get enough stock to give all their members. And unfortunately, if they're really, really big, you might end up as just another number in a massive estate. And the thing is, you don't want to end up buying a massive estate. You want to stay boutique. So the smaller the group, the better, the more unique it is, the better. You want to really go boutique and not get 1 out of 2,000, something like that. It's just crazy. So that's the important part. So it's all about getting your numbers right. But not only that, once you get your area due diligence right and you've got the right area, then you've got to look at your cash flow calculator and see what the cash flow is. Because there's lots of different strategies out there and a lot of people agonize over property and think, okay, how am I going to make the most out of property? The challenge is there's always the price to pay. So there's no free lunch when it comes to property. You want to get a higher return or fast return or better return, you got to pay for research or a mentor, or you got to work and put effort in. Nothing happens for free. So there's lots of strategies out there and you've got to choose what's good for you. Now the strategy I've chosen is to buy and hold. It's the simplest, easiest strategy. If you've known me for a while, I'm not a big fan of the complicated strategies that take hours of my time. Really, what I want to do is the quickest way from A to B, and that's what our strategy is all about. So what I do is I do all the work up front, get all the numbers up front, do my cash flow calculator, and make sure that the property I'm buying is costing me less than $30 a week, which is around a coffee a day. And I haven't given up my coffee, I still have my coffee. So then what happens is, if all the due diligence is done, there's higher demand than supply, and then the property is less than $30 a week, great, I'll buy it. Now what happens is property averages around 7% in Australia in the long run. Now let's say you get in 10 years, you get 7% return on average. That means that if you buy a $400,000 property, in 10 years it'll be worth 800, you've made 400,000 and it's cost you $30 a week. Maybe for the first year or two, after that it's actually positive. So let me ask you, is that a good return? It's an excellent return. It's fantastic. If you want to get better return, it's going to be risky. I think there's the good balance between return and risk, and it's the safe and good way to do it. But it's all up to you. And that's some of the fundamentals that you need. And the thing is, the most important thing is you need to educate yourself and really learn about this, because most people have a fear of investing in property, and you should have a fear if you don't know what you're doing. And you need to educate yourself, because if you do it properly, it can work really well. But don't just go out there and think you're going to just double your money overnight. There's no get rich quick in property. You've got to put the hard yards in, you've got to put the work in. It's not easy, it's hard if you do it properly, but the rewards are worth it. And that's part of how we do our research. So I hope that helps, and keep watching for more education.